Hello, everyone. Mr. Murphy here, and I am continuing the great work of my colleagues with the writing and language section of the SAT. I'll be taking a look at number 29 through numbers 38. All right, 29 through 38. So there's a couple of things that I would like to pass on to you as you go here. All right. Now, one of the important things that you're going to have to know is if you see this phrase, right, which is melting pots of creativity. That is the classic preceding information, main idea of the paragraph, if you will, which is going to help me with number 29. Number 30, I'm going to have to know two things. I'm going to have to know pronoun antecedent agreement. I'm going to have to know the difference between who and whom, right? That who is used as nominative case, as a subject or a predicate nominative. And I'm also going to have to know that whom is used as object of a preposition, direct object, indirect object. All right. So whom is objective case, who is nominative. And then I'm going to have to figure out where that verb fits in. All right. So I'm being somewhat specific here. All right. 31, it says the writer wants to add the following sentence to the paragraph, right? So I got to determine where that's going to be. And this is, of course, number 31, again, is a context. So I should know what's going on in the sentences, right? The sentence before where I want to add this information and the sentence afterwards. Does it fit? Is there an effective transition, if you will? All right. And then number 32, I have to know what these different punctuation marks are for, right? Now it starts with a colon, so I have to know when I use a colon, right? In number 32, I have a colon there, right? When do I use a semicolon? When do I use a comma? And do I use no punctuation at all, right? Is that a possibility? Number 33, it's a grammatical question, but it's also a question of tone, of what fits the paragraph best, what fits the passage best. Number 34, I mentioned the word transition. Now, hopefully, when you did your word paper, you use transitions between paragraphs. All right. And all English teachers love transitions. I always tell my kids, if you use transitions effectively, I am predisposed to giving you a good grade on your paper just because you did that. All right. Such an important part of writing. So you have to be able to know effective transitions. Number 35, again, I know I'm not giving you a lot, but it's context and it is also style, writing style comes into play with number 35. And when I go over it specifically, I'll tell you what I mean. All right. Number 36, and I always look at these and it's like sometimes on a test, I'll be given a test and I'll say, Beowulf was from what country? So it'd be really easy, right? And number 36 is really easy because it's really a grammar question, and an easy grammar question at that. Number 37 is a context question. All right, so you have to know the answers. Okay, you have to know where it fits. And we'll figure that out when we get to it. And number 38, again, we're dealing with effective transitions. So I will have to say that I very much appreciate this SAT section this time because it has a lot of things that I find important, right? We talked about context, we talked about transition, we talked about subject-verb agreement, pronoun antecedent agreement. See what I mean? So you have to have a general knowledge of those things to be effective. Now, at this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, I would ask you to turn off and this video. I know it's tough because it's really entertaining, but turn it off, do the passages, come up with the answers, and we'll talk about it on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody, and good luck. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back, and now I am going to go over specifics with these answers. Hopefully, I'll be able to negate some choices for you as well. All right. Now, I am looking at number 29, so we got to go back to number 29. All right, and I have to broaden this. And it says, number 29, it says 64% of respondents noted that co-working spaces prevented them from completing tasks in a given time. Now, if you recall, it says at this point, the writer wants to add specific information that supports the main topic of the paragraph. Well, what's the main topic of the paragraph? I already underlined it here. What most caught my interest, though, was a quotation from someone who described co-working spaces as melting pots of creativity. The key word is creativity. Okay, creativity. So now I have to find something that corresponds not only that will support this first part, right? Melting pots of creativity, but it has to be on the graph. So you see on the graph, creativity, 71%, right? So I look down here, it says, which choice most effectively completes the sentence with relevant and accurate information based on the graph above? So the main idea of the paragraph is melting pots of creativity. So it's got to be choice B, right? 71% of respondents indicated that using a co-working space increased their creativity. That's the key word, right? Now, when I look at 29 and I look at some of the other choices, they are inaccurate and unsupported interpretations of the information in the graph, right? The most important part of the graph is the term creativity. Okay. Now that I've beaten that to death, let's take a look at number 30. It says the article goes on to suggest that the most valuable resources provided by co-working spaces are actually the people whom use them. All right, whom use them. So I look at my choices. That doesn't sound right. You know, guys, remember we did pronouns and we talked about who and whom. And if I just do it, when I look at it as single, it's pretty simple, right? So I already know that B should be crossed out because I'm not using whom. Now, one of the things I always tell my students is always find the verbs because the verb's going to need a subject. So it's either who uses or who use, right? Well, what is who taking the place of? People. Now, people, folks, is plural. So say I just cross this out, crossed out whom, I would have people use, right? So the correct answer is choice D, which is who use them. Use is plural, right? People use them, right? So we tried to keep it simple there. All right, number 31. All right, let's take a look at number 31. And it says the writer wants to add the following sentence to the paragraph. All right. It says, after filling out a simple registration form and taking a quick tour of the facility, I took a seat at the table and got right to work on my laptop. Now, this is how I get the answer. All right. In number 2, it says, because I was specifically interested in co-working reported benefits related to creativity, I chose a facility, all right, that offered a bright open work area where I wouldn't be isolated. And then I look at number 3 and it says, throughout the morning, more people appeared. Those are the two key phrases, right? Because the answer to number 31 is choice C, after sentence 2. All right? Choice C, after sentence 2. Why would I do it before sentence 1? After filling out a simple registration form and taking a quick tour of the facility, I took a seat at the table and got right to work on my laptop. What are we talking about here, right? We didn't even mention that yet. After sentence 1, thus, even though I already had all the equipment I needed in my home office, I decided to try using a coworker space in my city. Okay, but I still need to choose a facility. I got to take a quick tour of the facility, right? So that information leads me to the answer being choice C. Number 32, as I said, I got to know my punctuation marks. You know, I use a semicolon joins two related ideas, right? Two related sentences, two related independent clauses. Prevents me from doing a run-on sentence when I use a semicolon, right? If I use the comma here, several of my co-working colleagues, comma, another website developer, comma, graphic designer. You know, this says over time, I've gotten to know several of my co-working colleagues, colon, right? So I got to put something there because what I do with the, and the answer is no change, right? Because in 32, after a colon, guys, I have a list, right? Another website developer, a graphic designer, a freelance writer, and several mobile app coders. So the colleagues are the total of that list. So it behooves me to use a colon when I'm listing my colleagues, right? That's a list. So use a colon. 33, even those of us who work in disparate fields are able to share advice and help each other brainstorm. Odd to say this, but if I said to give some wisdom, that's called a colloquial expression, meaning it's very informal, give some wisdom. We're able to proclaim our opinions. Doesn't really fit the tone of the passage, right? Or opine, which means to give an opinion. So disparate fields are able to share advice and help each other brainstorm. So again, no change. I'm using an infinitive there to share advice, not to give some wisdom, to proclaim, to opine, right? And help each other brainstorm. No, we're sharing advice, sharing it. Co-working, we're working together, so we share. So it fits the tone of the paragraph. Now, it says question 34 and 44 based on the following passage of philosophy. Now, some ways, ladies and gentlemen, you really they give us the definition of philosophy right here, right? So I don't even have to know what it is going in because I know what it is from here, right? Philosophy is the study of meaning and the values underlying thought and behavior, right? So they give it. So I don't have to, they're going to tell me what it is. They're going to give me that break. So let me go right to number 34, offering a student a host of transferable skills with relevance to the modern workplace. In broad terms, philosophy is the study of me. So in broad terms, in other words, hey, I'm being simplistic. I'm giving a straight definition, so I use it in bird terms. For example, philosophy. No, that's the incorrect. In contrast, I'm not contrasting. I'm not giving an example. So those are wrong. Nevertheless, that is a transition of degree. That's not effective. You know, it's effective in broad terms. The answer is choice A. All right. Now, we take a look at number 35. And again, it's like philosophy is the study of meaning and the values underlying thought and behavior, but more pragmatically, the discipline encourages students to analyze complex material, question conventional beliefs. Now, this is a pet peeve of mine, all right? It says speaking in a more pragmatic way, speaking in a way more pragmatically, in a more pragmatic speaking way, many of you would probably choose this and say, hey, what's wrong with these? Stylistically, they are atrocious. All of them. Right? Keep it simple. In writing, and I always tell my, I don't know what just happened there. In writing, less is more, right? So I go with choice A, more pragmatically, but more pragmatically. Not, I don't need to add speaking in a more pragmatic way, right? Fewer words are better oftentimes. Less is more. All right, now number 36. Because philosophy teaching students not what to think, but how to think. All right. Well, the first time, no change is not the answer. Philosophy teaching students. Philosophy teaches students. So number 36, I think it's pretty straightforward. I said this is like the real simple one. So you would choose choice B. Now, number 37, which choice most effectively sets up the information that follows? All right, a 1994 survey concluded that only 18% of American colleges required at least one philosophy course. Therefore, between 1992 and 1996, more than 400 independent philosophy departments were eliminated from institutions. All right, so they eliminated philosophy courses. The survey concluded that only 18% of American colleges required at least one philosophy course, and then they eliminate it. So what's my best choice? Choice D, right? However, despite its many utilitarian benefits, colleges have not always supported the study of philosophy. All right. You know, if you go back to the beginning, it says, long viewed by many as the stereotypically useless major, philosophy is now being seen by many students and prospective employers as, in fact, very useful. So, as it says, only 18% of Americans required it. Okay, the colleges required it. And then by 1992, 1990, they got rid of it. So, the whole idea of the paragraph is it has many benefits. Okay, the subject has many benefits. So the answer is choice D. All right. And finally, number 38 is transitions again. Let me go to the first one. It says a 1994 survey concluded that only 80% of American colleges require at least one philosophy course. Therefore, between 1992 and 1996, more than 400 independents. No, it's not no change. Therefore is incorrect. Thus is incorrect. Choice C is the correct answer. However, would be a transition, you know, of a contrast. It's not a contrast. I'm listing one fact in 37, and then I'm going to say, moreover. In other words, here is more information to back up what I just said previously. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our conclusion. I hope you picked up a few pointers. I wish you the best. I wish you nothing but luck. Take care and good luck. Hopefully, you found this useful.